Hey, thanks for tuning in and joining this session. I really appreciate you watching my videos. I bet you don't really realize how cool this is. Like the group of people following my channel or me on Instagram is not that big, and I'm not after that. I don't measure anything by the number of people, but I measure this success of my activities on the internet based on the quality of people. Like what kind of people can I interact with and exchange some ideas. And I'm pretty sure that you guys who watch my videos and follow me on Instagram, you are one of the best bunch of people. And I'm not just saying that, I'm gonna prove it on this video. I have one example that kind of proves my case. Now, Lucas Pühlmann contacted me a few weeks ago, 2 weeks ago. And he's one of my followers. I put the link of his Instagram to the description page so you can also meet the guy. He's an enthusiastic film photographer and he makes amazing prints. So he contacted me and said that he likes my channel and he wants me to get one of his prints. So I was of course eagerly waiting for this package to arrive, and he sends me first of all a letter, which I'm not gonna read it to you because it's personal, but it's very nice. Thank you, Luke. I really, very nice. Kind of personal, shares his enthusiasm about film photography and sends me a very nice print, which kind of a little bit reminds me of some of my work. You know, it's almost an empty and two people there. Like I think we talk the same language with Lucas. And then he sends me another amazing print, which is a panorama picture. Let me show that to you too. He said that he took this picture on Ilford HP5+, which is also my favorite film, and he pulled it down to 200 to get the exposure right so that the car has the movement and all that. Really nice use of light. And by the way, just a while ago I complained about the fact that you can't really show your panoramic pictures on Instagram or on any other platform for that matter. Those platforms don't treat pictures like this very well. So this is a good example of a kind of a picture you want to print, because as a print this is awesome. So thank you very much, Lucas. I really appreciate both the prints and the personal letter. It means so much to me to see that I may be able to inspire somebody like you a little bit, and you certainly inspire me with your prints. But hey, this is not all Lucas did. Then he asked me, like, does the Pentagon 6 mount fit into Kiev 60? And do I use my Kiev 60? And I say yes to both. And then Lucas sends me this. In a factory box, an awesome lens for my Kiev 60. This is a 50mm Flextagon wide angle lens. It looks like it has barely been used. All the glasses are crystal clear. Everything smooths like butter. I don't know if butter. Okay, you know what I mean. It feels really like fresh out from the factory. And you know, I'm so excited about this lens. You know, I have this 30mm lens, fisheye lens for my Kiev 60. And I like that a lot too. But the problem with the fisheye lens is that it distorts everything. All the lines are curvy and it's kind of a gimmick, really. But this one, everything is straight, it's really, I believe this is really a versatile lens for all kind of occasions. Really nice wide angle lens. I also googled this, and so some people seem to really rave about the quality of this lens. So I can't wait to get some film into my camera and go and test this. Such an awesome thing, Luke. And as I said, in the factory package. But hey, this is not all. In addition to that lens, he sends me even a bigger one. Once again, in a factory package. And what we got here is a sort of a gem. This is Carl Zeiss Sonnar F2.8 180mm lens. I don't know what to say. Like, Lucas just wanted me to have this, and this is such an awesome lens. Once again, it looks like it has barely been used. I don't know if this really has been used at all. It has the shade or reflection cover, I don't know how to call this thing, and it makes it look even cooler. Look at this thing, it weighs a ton. Such a cool thing. And now here is a little bit of a history I wanted to tell you about this camera, because now this is built by Carl Zeiss. It's a Carl Zeiss Sonnar, but I have also another Carl Zeiss Sonnar for my Hasselblad. This is also Carl Zeiss Sonnar. This 150mm f4 Carl Zeiss Sonnar. Carl Zeiss Sonnar. What's going on with this? So, you know, if you don't mind, I tell you a little bit about the history of Carl Zeiss. Some of you might know it, but, you know, not everybody. It's a fascinating part of history. So, Carl Zeiss started 1846 in the town of Jena. I pronounce it as I think Germans would pronounce it, Jena. And they started to build microscopes. Now, by the beginning of World War I, it was the biggest camera manufacturer in the world. So Carl Zeiss really expanded to all kind of optics, focusing on cameras. By the end of 30s, like I guess a lot of companies in Germany, they needed to more and more focus on a war effort. And they also used during the wartime forced labor and minorities like Jews and others in their factories. So there's a dark part of the history. Now this particular lens was developed for the Berlin Olympic Games in 1936. And therefore this lens is sometimes called an Olympic, Sonnar Olympic. There are three different versions of this. The original sort of silver version. Then there's one with the stripes, sometimes called a zebra. And then there is this one which is called an MC. This is the latest version. But they all originate from this 1936 Sonnar lens developed for the Olympics. Now then the war happens, and then after the war, the town of Jena, where Carl Zeiss is occupied by the US troops. But then almost immediately, through some strange gerrymandering, or I don't know how they would call it back then there, somehow this part of the country were given to the Soviets. And then as it was given to the Soviets, you know, that part became part of the East Germany. So also the town of Jena were now located in East Germany. So what happens immediately after the war are two things. First of all, the US troops smuggled 77 Carl Zeiss engineers to the West. And these engineers formed a new Carl Zeiss in the western part of the Germany, in a town called Stuttgart. and they called it Carl Zeiss. Now the original Carl Zeiss company in Jena still continued with what they got and continued building mostly the products, the lenses and cameras from before the war. But they were severely compromised by the fact that Soviets stole all the equipment and all the factory and all the tooling and took them to Ukraine, which was under Soviet occupation at that time. And they formed the company Kiev, based on Carl Zeiss. So now suddenly by the end of 40s, from the original Carl Zeiss in the town of Jena, we have three different Carl Zeisses, if you will. We have one in the West that produced, for example, these Hasselblad lenses. Then we have the very original Jena-based Carl Zeiss in East Germany that kept on producing these marvelous lenses. And then we have Kiev, the Arsenal company in that produced Kievs and some other stuff in Ukraine that was part of the Soviet Union back then. Until 56 or so, the eastern part of Carl Zeiss and the western part of Carl Zeiss continued working together. It's also like a fascinating fact that they exchanged ideas and all that, even though one was in East Germany and the other one was in the West Germany. But then by the mid-50s, the tension between those two blocks got so heated that all the collaboration ended. And they went their own merry ways. But the dispute about the Carl Zeiss brand name still continued all the way to the 80s, because they both thought they are entitled to use the name of Carl Zeiss, which I guess they kind of were, really. Eventually, the eastern part were forced to start to put add-ons to their names. So, for example, this says Carl Zeiss Jena DDR. So, East Germany. So, you know, the customer would know it's a Carl Zeiss, but it comes from the eastern part. It doesn't mean that these are of bad quality. Actually, these are every bit as good as these Western counterparts. So, that's also interesting. Then the Cold War ends, and then finally these two companies are merged. So now there is no longer an eastern and western part, but it's just one Carl Zeiss that keeps on producing optical equipment. The Arsenal company that produced Kiev has long gone, and it's no longer operational in Ukraine, unfortunately. It's kind of a fascinating story of how Cold War and the historical events affected, and how this lens originates from the Berlin Olympics from 1936. Kind of fascinating. So anyway, I googled this, everybody raves about this lens, how good it is. So I was eager to go out with these two lenses and test them. And there was a foggy day by the lakeside, took them out, took some Ilford HP5 Plus film, and this is what happened. So then in the evening I came back from the lake and I read a little bit more about this lens, and I noticed there are some people who really like the bokeh of this lens. That it is supposed to be soft and pretty, not like, for example, Helios 44, which is really curvy and bubbly, but really soft and creamy. So I wanted to try that. So the very next morning I went out again and I put the aperture fully open and I took a few more pictures to really see what's the bokeh look like. Got pictures like this. Hey, so I mean, pretty amazing. I really don't expect you guys to send me stuff. I'm of course like totally impressed by this glassware. I mean, so grateful. Thank you so much. I'm equally impressed by his prints and this kind of a personal touch, so it means a lot to me. So as a token of my appreciation, Luke, I want to send you something. So I thought I will send you one of my prints, framed. These are pretty sharp lenses, so I want to go to the other extreme. This is taken with my pinhole camera, and it's from the last summer. I'm driving my boat probably about 15 knots, and I just took a picture. The exposure time is about 30 seconds, so it blurs everything here, and I like this a lot, so I thought I want to send it to you. So expect to get it anytime soon now. And once again, thank you so much. And for everybody else who reaches out and wants to exchange ideas with me, I'm all into that. That gives me so much inspiration. And yeah, I got the best followers anybody has. See you later.